Hello and good afternoon. You tune into Market Fatafat. I'm Ankita Saxena. With me is Ashish Advaryu. In the next half an hour, we'll take you through all the buzzers in the trading session on the back of news floor, on the back of technical charts. But before that, let's see how the market is shaping up at this point. Well, we are trading at the day's highest point right now, 24,559,560 or thereabouts we are perched at. In fact, we're maintaining those levels. There has been a consistent rise. There has been no sell on rise right now. So the optimism is intact. We're trading with gains of almost 200 points on the Nifty. Nifty Bank also following suit. We are trading at the highest point of the day with gains of 1.3%. 57,377 is where we are at as far as the Nifty Bank is concerned. The broader end of the market is also adding legs to the rally. In fact, if you pull up the charts for mid and small caps, mid cap is trading up 0.7%, and small caps has recovered very smartly. In fact, is trading with gains of 1.2% right now. And let's take stock of some of the names that are doing very well in the trading session. In fact, PNB Housing is one of the names that is doing very well on the back of its strong results. We have Elcon Engineering's Lemon Tree that is up 8%. 5-star also trading with gains of 8%. Zentech, all of these counters are buzzing in trade with gains of more than 8+%. So that's how the market is shaping up at this juncture. It's a good day coming in. The market breadth looks positive, but we'll talk about stock-specific action more in details. So let's get going with the show, Ashesha, then.
Well, yes, let's get going. This is a show where we discuss all the stocks that are buzzing in trade. And on the technical side, we are now joined by Rupak De, Senior Technical Analyst at LKP Securities. Rupak, we'll come to you in just a bit. Thanks so much for joining us here today. But first up, let's talk about Vedanta. And the stock has been holding up with gains today. And this is because the board of directors have now approved the demerger record date. And 1st of May will be the record date. Investors holding shares in their demat account as on the 1st of May will be eligible to get the demerger shares. But 1st of May, remember, is a market and bank holiday, which means the last date to buy shares to be eligible for the demerged entity shares will be the 29th of April. And the company will now be split into 4 separate entities under the scheme of amalgamation. The company says that this will unlock value for shareholders, it will help in reducing debt burden, and it will also allow each of these businesses to pursue their own growth strategy. In fact, the last time when we interacted with Mr. Anil Agarwal, he said that each of the demerged entities have the potential to grow into a $100 billion enterprise, and each business will now get a renewed focus, new investors, and a unique opportunity to achieve its full potential. The priorities of the company will continue to be on timely completion of their capex plans, continued deleveraging, and interest cost reduction. So that's the news. 1st May is the record date, and the stock is gaining. Of course, it has given up some of those gains, but earlier in the day, the stock was up as much as 2% on the back of this news feed.
All right, so that's the word coming in as far as Vedanta and the demerger is concerned. But let's talk about HCL Tech. Rupak, you've picked out HCL Tech on the charts for us. Tell us, what do you see for HCL Tech? HCL Tech is also going to report its number, and before that, we do see it's trading up almost with gains of 1%. On the charts, how does it look like? What are the levels to track?
So on the chart, it has been consolidating for the last few days. I would say 7-8 days. It has been consolidating, but then prior to this consolidation, there was a rally from the recent bottom. So, in fact, the stock is in progress of making a bullish flag, and I'm waiting for a breakout from this flag pattern. But overall chart setup and overall sentiment around the stock is bullish, and I think there would be upside breakout from this pattern. And once the stock breaks out above from the flag pattern, the stock might move towards 1560 in the short term. On the lower end, it has a support at 1420. So stock can be bought or can be held if it is in the portfolio already with a stop loss of 1420, and on the upside, the target would be 1560.
All right, so that's the word on HCL Tech, those levels to track, and of course the results that we will be bringing to you as and soon they come in. Well, let's talk about PNB Housing Finance. That's doing very well in the trading session today because of its Q4 numbers, and the housing finance company has reported a 19% surge in the net profit, which stood at 656 crore rupees. The total income of the company also rose 6.5% to 2,172 crores as compared to 2,000 crores in the corresponding quarter of the last fiscal. In addition, PNB Housing Finance has also declared a final dividend of Rs 8 per equity share with a face value of Rs 10 for the year ended March 31st, 2026. As far as the NPAs are concerned, that stood at 0.57%, while the gross non-performing assets were at 0.93%. The AUM also scaled beyond the 90,000 crore milestone, reaching 90,921 crores as of FY26. That reflects a growth of 13% on a year-on-year basis. And of course, they have also announced a final dividend. A good set of numbers coming in, strong set coming in for PNB Housing. On the back of that, the stock is firing on all cylinders with gains of 9%.
Okay, so that stock is up 9%, but let's also put the spotlight on SML Mahindra. Earlier it was called as SML Isuzu, and the company has reported earnings for the quarter gone by. The stock is down 6.5%. Revenues have seen an uptick of 16.5% on a year-on-year basis, but EBITDA, that has largely remained flat, and margins have contracted to 10% versus 11.7% that the company had reported same time last year. Now, the management says that fourth quarter margins were hit by 130 basis points because of input cost inflation, and to combat input cost inflation, the company did undertake 2 to 3% price hikes in the first quarter of FY27. Cost pressures are likely to persist amid undergoing geopolitical uncertainties. In fact, as far as synergies on integration are concerned, SML and Mahindra are working on product development and supply chain. So that's some important commentary that has come in from the management, where the management says that input cost pressures likely weighed heavy on the earnings in the quarter gone by, but they have undertaken price hikes, and that is likely to support earnings in the first quarter of FY27.
All right, let's move on to the next counter that you have picked out for us, Rupak. You have picked out Keynes Tech for us. In fact, Keynes Tech has done very well in the last 1 month. It's moved up 25%. Do you see this positive momentum to continue in the future as well?
Yeah, definitely. I would like to say that the stock has given a previous swing high breakout. Also, I see that the stock has made a higher bottom. That is the first step of a reversal. So after a correction of more than 50% in the last 6 months, the stock is looking very good, in a very good position to witness a significant rally towards 4,600 and 5,000. So somebody who is holding the stock or somebody who is planning to buy the stock might buy or hold the stock for a target of 4,600 and 5,000. And on the lower end, 4,000 should be a stop loss, because below that the stock might fall into decline.
All right, so that's Keynes Tech on the charts, but let's talk about Bank of Maharashtra, another earnings candidate. The company has gained 6.5% after lenders management gave its guidance for the financial year 2027. Management has guided for a total business growth to be between 16 to 17%, and it has also pegged the advances growth at 18% and deposits growth to be between 14 to 15% for the financial year 2025. Now, across other important parameters, Bank of Maharashtra sees its core income, or the net interest income NII, growing by 15% on a year-on-year basis, and the NIMs at 3.75%. In the non-interest income is likely to be around at 10%, and the cost of income ratio is likely to be below 40%. So strong updates coming in by the management, and on the back of that, Bank of Maharashtra is also trading with gains of 5.5%.
Okay, so that's Bank of Maharashtra for you, but several other stocks and sectors continue to remain in focus. We'll discuss some of those after this short break. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. You're still tuned into Market Fatafat, a show where we discuss all the stocks that are buzzing in trade. And let's now put the spotlight on Anthem Bio. The stock is in focus on the back of a Citi report, where they've gone ahead and initiated coverage on this counter with a buy rating and a target price of 870 rupees per share. This counter is seen as one of India's fastest growing CRDMOs. It has strong portfolio of commercial molecules. Client relationships are sticky, supporting long-term visibility. In fact, Citi in its report has said that revenue is expected to grow at a 26% CAGR over the period FY23 to 26, and Citi expects 15 to 16% revenue growth in FY26, and revenue and EBITDA CAGR are expected to come in at 19 and 22% respectively over the next 3 years. Growth is expected from volume recovery in its top product, and momentum is seen in legacy molecules. In fact, new molecules commercialized in FY26 are also likely to drive incremental growth going forward. Margin expansion of about 200 basis points is also expected to happen in the medium term. So very positive report that Citi has come out with. They've initiated coverage with a buy rating. 870 is the target price. The stock is gaining 2% on the back of that.
All right, let's move on to the next counter that here Rupak has picked out for us. Eternal. Rupak, on the charts, tell us how does Eternal look like? And I mean, from the March low of almost 215, it has gained almost 14 to 15 percent since then. Do you see this upside to continue, and what are the targets for Eternal?
Yeah, absolutely. It has moved up significantly, giving a return of about 15% from its recent low. Taking out from its previous consolidation. So now, as the stock has moved out from its recent consolidation, now it is looking like that the stock might continue to move towards the higher level, as the moving average, 10 days and 20 days moving average are in bullish crossover. The momentum indicator RSI is in positive crossover. So all the things are pointing towards a positive movement in the short term. So I expect the stock to move towards 285 in the short term, whereas on the lower end, 243 would be a stop loss. Below that, the stock might fall into consolidation.
Okay. So that's the target, 285 in the short term is what you're penciling in. But let's move on to the next counter, Carousel, that's in focus. That is doing well in trade after the company announced plans to expand its quartz zinc capacity by 25% to 1.25 million units by FY27. That's backed by a 50 crore investment, and the capex will be funded via a QIP and internal accruals to meet the rising demand from the US retail chains. On the back of that, we do see Carousel, it has given up those morning gains, but nonetheless, it is holding on to gains of 1.8%.
Okay, so that's Carousel for you, but let's also put the spotlight on a couple of other counters that are in focus and trend. Fourth quarter revenue is expected to come in at a growth of about 21% YOY. PAT is expected to see a surge. In fact, we are also expecting margins to expand this time around. Now remember, margins are expected to come in at about 16.5% in the fourth quarter versus 16% that the company had reported same time last year, which means we are expecting an expansion of about 50 basis points on a sequential basis. Now remember, the board of directors will also be considering bonus issue along with rights issue with its earnings tomorrow, so that will be another important factor to watch out for. This will be the company's first bonus issue ever since it got listed in June 2004. Record date, of course, has not been fixed, and more details will come along with its results in the board meeting that is scheduled to happen tomorrow. Revenue growth is expected to be driven by store additions in the quarter gone by, and guidance for FY27, same store sales growth guidance going forward, and demand outlook and store expansion guidance will be very crucial this time around. So keep an eye out on trend. The stock has been holding up with gains for the second consecutive session today ahead of its results tomorrow.
All right, Trend's all set to report its numbers, and before the results, it is trading higher today. Let's talk about another stock that is doing very well, and that is Lemon Tree Hotels. That's up 8% in the trading session today. Rupak, even in fact in the last 1 month, it has traded up almost 20% there. What on the charts are you seeing for Lemon Trees? Does the positive momentum continue? And what are the levels to track here?
Yeah, I expect the positive momentum to continue in the short term as well. I think today it has given a consolidation breakout. The moving averages are into a bullish crossover, and momentum indicator RSI is in bullish crossover and rising higher. So initially it has found a resistance at 100 days moving average, but eventually I think it will reclaim the 100 days moving average in the near term, and then it might witness a significant rally towards 148. On the lower end, I would suggest a stop loss at 114, because below that the stock might fall into consolidation.
All right, so that's Lemon Tree Hotels geared up for more upside. But let's talk about Muthoot Finance. That is also doing very well on the back of strong Q4 earnings. The asset under management, or AUM, grew by 13% to 14,000 crores, reflecting a healthy expansion, whereas the disbursements rose 6% on a year-on-year basis, while the collection efficiency also improved to 96%, indicating a strong asset quality. Strong set coming in for Muthoot Microfinance. Also, that stock is trading up. It is, right now at the highest point of the day, trading with gains off almost 11% in the trading session.
Okay, so that's Muthoot Microfin for you. The stock is up 11%. But on that note, Rupak, thank you so much for taking your time out and joining us here on Market Fatafat this afternoon and taking us through your top picks this afternoon. But